All right, he's one of the world's most renowned Jewish advocates for interfaith dialogue between Jews, Arabs, and Christians. Jerry Jones is here from Australia, where he took part in last week's AJC forum, which invited the likes of Indonesia's Muslim leader and Miss Iraq. And we are very happy to have him here with us alongside the illustrious Maya Kramer, who will be talking on some non-land down under experiences going on this week. So welcome back to your, how many, 40th visit this year?
62nd.
Wow. Wow, this is insane, and a long airplane ride at that. So why not just make Aliyah?
I have things to do elsewhere in the world at the moment, so we'll see where life takes me.
So what is it like for you? I mean, listen, I know I have friends in Melbourne, Australia. The Jewish community in Australia is very, very strong, very Zionist. What is it about, being in the land down under that, makes for such a strong community in particular there?
Well, first there's the credibility. When the first Europeans settled, there were Jews. We were convicts. My family weren't convicts till after we got there. We came in the 1850s.
You became convicts.
Well, a bit later. But I'm saying there were Jews there right at the beginning. So from the very first day, there was legitimacy of the community. That meant when the society was developing, it wasn't as if Jews were outsiders in any sense. They were very much part of shaping the European experience within Australia.
Right.
And from very early days, Jews who were denied the right to participate in societies elsewhere could in Australia. So our most important military figure in the First World War was a Jew of Prussian Jewish background. If he had been in the British Army, the chances are he would have been kept down as low as possible with that background. He became the commander of Australian forces, General Sir John Monash.
Right.
And other Jews played a very important role. I had cousins of my grandfather who fought in major battles and have been honoured in the Australian Armed Forces and there was no issue.
So really it was, very, very similar, I guess, to the early wave of Jews going to America, and it was like a place where, everyone had certain freedoms. But let's talk about, so given that, what, for you, why is it such an important purpose for you, being at the forefront of all of this, interfaith dialogue? I mean, you have a real mission that you are, traveling the world promoting.
Think how blessed we are to live in Australia. We live in a multicultural country. No single group is a majority of any sort really in the country. People of English background, but the people of Catholic and Anglican background didn't have the same historic experiences. People from different parts of the British Isles had different experiences. So we have the idea of we're shaping a society which is based on the premise of allowing everybody to contribute their maximum to building the country. Now, when there have been problems, people have been able to talk to each other and sort out problems away from the tension of many other places.
Right.
So we've been very fortunate. We've had very little armed conflict, which has actually affected our country directly.
Yeah, I mean, not many countries could say this. So now let's talk about being, in Jerusalem. I mean, it was big news. I mean, Miss Iraq came, and the Muslim leader from Indonesia. You had a large part in bringing him. Is that correct?
Well, I've brought two previous groups of Muslim religion leaders some from the same organisation to Israel. I've also twice taken part in speaking tours of Indonesia, where I've gone to institutes of higher religious learning, Islamic institutions, and said, any questions on Jews, any questions on Israel, I'm there to answer. And I've had very interesting experiences and very positive experiences, because in Australia, we had formed a dialogue of Christians, Muslims and Jews, which was functioning before 9/11. We were already talking, we had a good relationship. So after the crisis of 9/11, the Jews, Muslims and Christians in Australia had a mass rally for our common humanity.
Wow.
All around the world, everyone else was in stress and panic. We had a mass rally. And Buddhists, Hindus and Baha'is and Sikhs came and said, can we join it?
Wow.
So we were all
Fantastic.
part of something. So when you're an Australian involved in interfaith dialogue, you build up credibility with many groups in the world.
Right.
We took the model throughout Southeast Asia. And the Australian model of people working together was spreading throughout the region. And we found really important aspects of social issues where before dialogue took place, it was very ineffective. There was competition between groups. Everyone worried somebody else was trying to steal the souls of their people rather than do humanitarian works. Now people are saying we've found many people of different religions who can work together to achieve the betterment of humanity.
Amazing.
But again, you look at something like Islam, and many people have a very one-dimensional or two-dimensional at best relationship with a very complex and nuanced phenomenon, which is Islam. Indonesia has the two largest Muslim membership organisations in the world. Indonesia, one with about 60 million members, the other with only over 40 million members. They are not the same as the Wahhabists that people might encounter, or the Iranians people might encounter. And yet these are people who are very important in the overall scheme of things when it comes to the identity of Muslims.
Right.
I was at 6 iftar dinners, 6 times during the first few days of Ramadan, and if you take out Shabbat and Shavuot, there weren't many other nights available. Muslims in Australia provided kosher food for me to be their guest, to come because they say, we want to have a good relationship we can show the world.
Jeremy, you're a fantastic guy, and it's great what you're doing, and, you know, keep up the good work.